Yeah. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Lump Dog. I'm back. Week 13 video commissioner message. Pimps, Plays, and Hustlers Fantasy Football League, aka PPH. You know I'm back. Never forget what do I always say. I'm your favorite fantasy football commissioner's favorite fantasy football commissioner. Don't ever forget that. Okay? So with that being said, here we are. It's week 13, y'all. The end of fantasy football season. I can't believe it. It goes by so quick. I really think I should diet during fantasy football. It goes by so quick. I wouldn't even know. I'd be like 50 pounds, 60 pounds lighter, and it would have went by in a blink of an eye. So, don't know why I don't do that, but I need to. Anyway, we also got 4 people we need to say goodbye to. We need to go ahead and give them the old PPH salute. So, let them know that goodbye, haters. Been nice knowing you. Tardos, 289ers. Peace to you. Patty's Playboys, Patty. Peace to you. And last but not least, Trump's a pump. Stains. Peace to you. Just blow off them tackle boxes, or get some fog juice. You have all the juice. Get the PPH dropping the fog juice on the fisherman. That's all I know. Well, actually, I know more than that, but that's a good start to just drop the fog juice right on them fishermen going home, not making the playoffs. I guess the next thing now to worry about is getting them paid up. It should happen. Hopefully, it will happen. No, it will happen. But it's just by Super Bowl. I always hold out hope that these guys will say, "Oh, hey, I owe like $350. Let me go ahead and get that paid up in the next few weeks, or let me make a $50 payment here. Let's let them know that I'm thinking about it, and I'm just not going to wait till Super Bowl." But no, these guys will wait till Super Bowl to pay up if they pay up. So just be patient with them. All right, well, what we do have to go on today is I'm going to break down the first round of the playoffs. Who cares about Week 13? What happens, and we got the winners in, the top 8, no buys. We do reverse waiver order. So your boy here's got number 1 seed and the number 1 waiver pick into the playoffs. No one really hot. I mean, who can you think of? I don't know. No one really hot this week on free agents, right? No one that could maybe use a running back on their squads, right? No, nobody. I wish there was a hot tight end. That would be really nice if there was a hot tight end. Real hot and juicy. Hot, juicy like that fog juice. But I'm getting the fog juice with my super pumped at the tight end position. Pumping my face ever since O.J. Howard went down. That's killed me. But I've been managing, so we'll see though. I got a tough first round matchup here. I'll go ahead and break down all the games here, but we'll see how it goes. But I think Samuel's really the hottest free agent right now. Maybe Jeff Wilson from the Niners too. He's pretty hot. But one of those guys. But I don't really need a running back. So what's the fantasy etiquette out there? What do you guys think? What do you do in the league? You don't need a running back. You do need a tight end. But really, there's no hot tight end on the market, right? There's maybe Ian Thomas from the Panthers. He's like the only really guy. I mean, I just picked up Matt Lacoste or Cross, whatever his name is, from the Broncos last week, thinking, oh, he's the only tight end they got. Get a couple points, get 3-4 points. That's all I'm looking for. Spent $5 on him, got a 0. All right, so tight end is brutal this year. So really no one to go out there and tight end. So what's the etiquette? Do you just let those running backs pass to teams that might be able to use them in the playoffs, or do you cockblock and pick one of those guys up? So you let me know in the comments down below, or on the comments on the webpage, or within the group text message for league members. Just let me know. Well, what's the etiquette there? What would you do? What would you do in that situation? You tell me. And if you were to pick up a running back, are you going to pick Samuel or Wilson? Let me know in the comments below, on the text message, through the Snapchat app, Facebook, Messenger, and our PPH page there. Anything you need to know, you just let me know what you feel about that situation right there with that free agent going into the playoffs. So, all right, well, I've rambled on enough here in my opening monologue. So, again, goodbye to the 4 fishermen. Pay your money. and we'll see how this week one goes here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to break down week one for the PPH Fantasy Playoffs. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's round one of the PPH Playoffs. We have the number 2 seed, the Suckholes, taking on the number 7 seed, the Big Loads. Well, not really the Big Load, but Big Loads. He made it, y'all. He pushed. He plowed. He plowed right through that mental fortitude it took to make the playoffs in the PPH. He's such a defeatist. He has such a weak mind. But he plowed right through it, y'all. Let's congratulate the Big Loads to the PPH playoffs. It's his first year making the playoffs. It's taken him 3. He's done it, finally. So congratulations to the Big Loads. Good to see you in the playoffs. And it looks like you're a favorite over the second-seeded Suckholes. And the Guru has you beating them 138 to 103. So as you can see here, we have a breakdown of their record. The Big Loads finished at 6-7, and the Suckholes at 9-4. Why did the Suckholes not have a bye week? That's what you're probably asking yourself. Yep, I would be saying the same thing. Why? With 9-4, why do you not have a bye week? Why are you forced to play a 6-7 team in the first round? I don't. This is the way these guys want to play, so that's the way we're doing it. Anyway, coaching ranking. So Suckholes doesn't make many mistakes. He's first. And the coaching rankings, he's always going to put in the guy who gets him the most points. 6th, though, for coaching rating for the Big Loads. He's good in the owner's stats, though. He does make a lot of calls. Pays off for him well, too, but not so much sometimes. So that's why he's right there in the middle of the pack and that coaching ranking. The schedule difficulty, they're both tied for 6th there. Passing ranking, Suckholes first. How could you not be in with Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers on your roster, not be first in passing? 3rd for Big Load, so that's pretty good to be top 3 there in passing ranking with Rivers, and then you had Roethlisberger, but then ended up trading him right before the deadline. But Rivers is now your man, and now you have Winston too on your bench there. And then 11th in rush ranking for Big Loads. That's his Achilles heel right now. 5th in rushing ranking for the Suckholes, so he's top 5. But not having Melvin Gordon in the first round is really going to hurt the Suckholes. We got receiving rank, Big Loads first. Didn't expect to see that. That's a little surprising. First in receiving rank, 7th for the Suckholes, and then 9th and 10th in defenses, respectively, defensive ranking. So here we go. I'm going to just go by what you guys have set right now. So right now we got Rivers and Mahomes. McHomeboy, I think you have to be a little scared this week with Baltimore coming into Kansas City. Now, I just experienced Baltimore last week when they played Matt Ryan. These guys, this football team is built to run the ball, hold the ball, and play grinded out football. Just 2 yards in a cloud of dust and tough defense. The thing is with them is if you don't get them to get off 3rd down, I mean, because they're usually coming up with 3rd and short, sometimes 3rd and 6 or so, 3rd and 7. Rarely are they in those long down situations like 3rd and 13. But they just move the chains. They keep that clock rolling. And I'm a little scared for McHomeboy this week just because of that situation where they have the offense built around keeping the ball and keeping an explosive offense like Kansas City off the field. And if you only get a few opportunities, now Kansas City, they can do this. With only a few opportunities, they can go down and put points on the board. But Ravens make it tough. So that's what I'm just saying. It's a little scary there. And I guess the Guru has them there with only 29 points. Rivers against Cincinnati, that's got to scare the Suckholes. That's a good matchup for Rivers. He could easily put up 3 touchdowns, 300 yards in that matchup. Running backs here, we got Chris Carson against David Johnson. Johnson against Arizona. They lost Christian Kirk in Arizona, so you think maybe they're going to pass the ball more to David Johnson. He's maybe starting to look up maybe for this game. Lions don't have the greatest of great defenses, but still well. Chris Carson going up against Minnesota. That's tough, so kind of got to give the edge there to David Johnson. Ingram and Peyton Barber. I would just give the edge to Ingram just because He's playing Tampa Bay, and they're, not the greatest of defenses, though Barber is going to get more of the workload than Ingram. DeAndre Hopkins about Mike Evans. Evans is going to go up against Lattimore and the Saints secondary there, so I'm a little concerned about his production of late, especially last week against not-so-great Carolina secondary. And I don't think it's Mike Evans. I just think it's him and Winston just don't hook up very often. Hopefully it comes out well for the Suckholes. I know he needs a big game. Mike Evans is due, and he's more than capable of doing it. So hopefully that works out for him against... now, DeAndre Hopkins, number one receiver for the big loads against Indy. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to put up, his stats. It's just, does he stay out of the end zone or not? Is this Deshaun Watson's 5-4-3 touchdown week, or does he run one in and throw for two, and one goes to the tight end and another one goes to Kiki or Demaryius Thomas, who's now a red zone threat? So got to be a little concerned there, especially knowing that that's a divisional game with Indianapolis, so that can definitely throw records out the window. Anything can happen, and they know DeAndre Hopkins is the heartbeat of some of that offense there, or at least their weapons. So they're going to want to probably double team him, try to keep him out, but hasn't worked much for all year. All right, so second receivers here, we got T.Y. Hilton going for the Suckles versus Keenan Allen for the Bees, the big loads there. God, again, T.Y. Hilton, great receiver, monster numbers. Andrew Luck, you gotta love, going against the Texans. Weakness is their secondary. You would think that this would be an easy win here for the Suckles, but Keenan Allen last week decides to show up with like 9 catches and 140 yards and a touchdown, and he's the combo guy for Rivers, and he's going against Cincinnati, who defense just absolutely sucks. So, yeah, damn, man, another matchup I would say that goes to big loads there, and that in that second receiver spot. Third receiver spot here, we got Kenny Galladay versus Chris Conley. I think that's pretty obvious there. I'm sure that Suckholes is probably looking for a third receiver there. Travis Kelce for the tight end, and Trey Burton. Trey Burton's been sucking, but you get Trubisky back. He could maybe be some, but he's just been so up and down. He had a good game. He'd go 3 games with nothing against Kelce, which, Suckholes has actually kind of got a root for Kelce, because that means McHomeboy, who's throwing him the ball, if Kelce doesn't have a good game, maybe it all goes to Tyreek Hill, and I'd be fine with that. But then it has to be somebody else, right? So that's their star. So you would think that he's going to get some. So obviously you give the nod here to Kelce in the tight end position. Will Lutz against Justin Tucker. I don't care what the guru says. I think I'm going to take Justin Tucker in that one. Jags D, Thursday night against Tennessee versus the Cowboys D against Philly. Even though the Cowboys D is playing well, I would think I like the Jaguars D going on Thursday night against Mariota and the Titans. Jaguars D just looked pretty good last week, and it could be getting hot just at the right time for the Suckholes. So, I think the Jaguars D does it. All right, and then here we go with the benches. You can see not really much to work with. We got Derrick Henry maybe, but I don't think he's going to start. Suckholes would start Derrick Henry going against his defense. Jalen Richards he could maybe go for. Marcus Vandale-Scanling, probably not that third receiver spot, not after what he's done. I think big loads there. He's pretty set on his lineup. I don't see him putting in Justin Jackson maybe, but just because it goes with Rivers. But it shows that last week that Eckler's still the passing down back there for the Chargers. But looking at those matchups and seeing what I see there, and not playing any favorites, you got to hand it. You got to give the nod to the big loads. The three-time champ Suckholes will definitely put up a fight. They're not going to make it easy. They're definitely not going to give it to the big loads. But matchup-wise, you would tend to go. But it's fantasy football, and anything can happen. I don't know. Maybe McHomeboy goes for 60 points. Maybe the Jaguars D gets him 48 or something like that. Unless something like that happens, I'm going to say Big Loads takes that round 1 win against the Suckles, which is hard to say that because it's the 7 and the 2 seed, and it's our three-time champ on the quest for 4 going against the first-time playoff maker. That's hard. So, yeah, that's how I see it, though. So I'm just going to stick to it. All right, in our next matchups, we got the URSO versus the Rookie. This is our 3-6 matchup. Rookies finishes with the 3rd seed, URSO with the 6. Again, I'm just going to go on what you guys have set here. You guys might change up your lineups, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the early predictions before you're set. Your lineups are set. So let's go ahead and take a look at the records. URSO ended up winning his last 2 and got to finish with a 7-6 record. Rookies went ahead and won his last 2 and finished with a 9-4 record. That means that if either of these win a championship, it'll be 5 in a row they'll have to do it in. Coach ranking there with the Rookies being 4th and URSO being 10th. He's horrible at making calls. Always, he's the guy in your fantasy football league that always calls you up on Monday morning or Sunday. Oh, I was going to start that guy. Oh, I swear I was this close. Right at the last second, I decided not to. So that's why he has that 10th ranked coaching ranking. Passing ranking, the Rookies is 7th there, so he's near the bottom of, or 10, kind of in the middle of the pack, I should say, 12th in passing ranking for URSO, which is kind of crazy to think he has Wentz and Trubisky. Rushing ranking, 3rd for URSO, so that's good, but he's playing 2nd against the Rook. And then receiving rank are 8th and 9th, and then their defensive ranking there is 11th and 7th. So right now we got Trubisky going against Andrew Luck, and Trubisky's playing the Rams, and Andrew Luck's going against Houston. Sunday night game though, so you want to give that a little bit of Trubisky. It's just that much more credit because it's a Sunday nighter. You think he's going to show up and show out. I think missing the last 2 games there, sore shoulder. He's going to be rusty. And then they got Talib back for the Rams D. So, and he'll be rusty though, but they don't have a prolific passing attack. It's just, more of those gadget, dink and dunk, cone and a, double reverse, throw it, Taylor Gabriel, so I'm going to, I got to give it to Andrew Luck, even though it is a divisional game too. But Andrew Luck is just so consistent and so good. That you would have to just think that he knows how to attack Houston's defense. And again, it's through the air. They got a good front 7 there in Houston. So I think they're just going to do a lot of passing to the backside of the backfield. So I'm going to give the nod there to the Rooks with Andrew Luck. He finishes with more points. In the matchups here, we got Todd Gurley against Chicago and Christian McCaffrey versus Cleveland. Oh, man, this is a good matchup, man. Todd Gurley's been a beast all year long, been a beast. Touchdown after touchdown. Offense runs through him. But Christian McCaffrey's been coming on strong. Have you seen what he's been doing lately? He's been just as good as Todd Gurley, if not better. And you're going against Cleveland while Gurley's playing Chicago. And I know Gurley is a great back, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Christian McCaffrey in this one. I think he finishes with more points just because it's against Cleveland. And they've been just running McCaffrey. McCaffrey has just been a beast lately. All right, in the second running back position, right now we have Tevin Coleman versus Joe Mixon. I'm going to give it to Mixon there. I mean, it's hard to go Coleman the way he's been playing and at Green Bay on the frozen tundra, so to speak, even though it'll be clear and sunny and just cold. I checked. Yeah, I'm checking forecast reports. That's how much I'm into my first round matchup of my team game. Anyway, so Coleman, so Mixon, even though it's against a tough defense, I think they're going to be able to run the ball somewhat, and they're going to have to because Driscoll at quarterback, AJ Green out, so they're not going to have the horses on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to have to try to keep Rivers and them off the field and try to grind it out and give Mixon lots of carries and lots of catches. So I give Mixon the nod in that one. Moving on to the receiving core here, we got Corey Davis versus Brandon Cooks. Hard to trust Corey Davis, so I'll give it to Brandon Cooks. Mike Williams versus DJ Moore. Wow, that's a good one. Man, because Mike Williams has just been so inconsistent. It's hard to, go, yeah, give him the nod, but when he does put up numbers, he puts up good numbers. And then DJ Moore has kind of been the focal point. No, not the focal point, but he's the hot rookie in Carolina. So it's hard to go away from him. But I'm going to say this is Mike Williams' week. I'm going to think at Cincinnati that this is the week. Or no, it's not. It's in LA. So I think this is the week. It's a Mike Williams week. He ends up getting a touchdown, 80 yards, something like that, and he ends up getting more points than DJ Moore. That's my prediction. All right, third there, Demaryius Thomas versus Golden Tate. Just because it's Thursday night and just what I've seen in Golden Tate last night and Monday night, since today's Tuesday, I'm going to go with Golden Tate in this one. I think he's starting to become more part of the offense. They're going to use him more in that slot spot, He's becoming more comfortable with Carson Wentz. So I see him, even though Demaryius Thomas hasn't been bad, but it's just a Thursday night, and I hate Thursday night football. It's just so unpredictable. Ertz versus Njoku, obviously Ertz. Fairbairn versus Elliott, give it to Fairbairn the way he's been kicking lately. And then Seahawks D versus the Chargers D, and I'm going to go Chargers because they're playing Cleveland, even though the Seahawks are playing at home, but I think Minnesota will be able to throw the ball on them. Let's look at the benches here. Not much to go on. Maybe Kerryon Johnson gets in over Tevin Coleman for the rookie. Not sure what he pulls out there. Theo Riddick, maybe, I don't know, Sammy Watkins gets healthy. Maybe he puts him in. I'm not sure. Jordan Reed starts at tight end over Njoku. Now with Mark Sanchez as quarterback, they're going to have to throw it shorter. They're not going to throw it longer, so maybe him. I'm not sure. Josh Reynolds maybe not. He has Brandon Cooks. David Moore from Seattle, probably not. It's not against the Vikings. Anthony Miller, I don't know, maybe third receiver there in Chicago against the Rams. That might be. Probably not Braid over Ertz and then Redskins D. So in this matchup here, this is going to be a good one, y'all. This is going to be, I think, 6-point difference here by the Guru. But I will, just because Gurley is playing in Chicago, and I don't think he has a Gurley 25, 30-point game, and I think McCaffrey does. I also think the LA Chargers defense, will do a little bit better than the Seahawks defense, and I think he's got it obviously in the tight end position. I'm going to take URSO with the upset here, beating the Rook. Though I can still see the Rook winning. I mean, Gurley obviously can ball out, and then I could see maybe Demaryius Thomas having a good game, and then, I don't know, 2 receivers going on Thursday night with Corey Davis too, so that's harsh. I don't know, man. Like I said, the receivers could go flip. Mike Williams could get 0 and DJ Moore could get 80 yards and a touchdown. So if that happens, I can see Rookie getting the win. But as it stands right now, I'm going to give the win here to URSO. I think his matchups are better. Has nothing to do with the Guru score. I just going on matchups and I'm breaking it down. So I'm explaining myself as I go why I think what I'm thinking. All right, in the next game, we got the 4 and 5 seed here. 4 seed Brewdogs, 5 seed Basket of Deplorables. And let's go ahead and let's take a breakdown of their rankings here. So Basket of Deplorables finished with a 8 and 5 record. Excuse me, he's the 4 seed, and the 5 seed is Brewdogs with the 7 and 6 record. Second in coaching ranking for Basket of Deplorables, 5th for the Brewdogs. Schedule difficulty, 2nd for Basket Deplorable. So he's had the 2nd toughest schedule this season. 3rd for the Brewdogs, so that's pretty awesome. They both finish 4 and 5, and the 2nd and 3rd hardest schedules, so that's great. Passing ranking 6th and 9th. 1st for the rushing rank for Basket Deplorables, and having James Conner and Barkley for all season will get you that number 1, and well deserved at that. And then fourth and third there, fourth in receiving rank for the Brewdogs, third for Basket of Deplorables, and then second in defense and sixth in defense for Basket of Deplorables. So not the greatest matchup here for Brewdogs. As you can see here, we got Cam Newton against Deshaun Watson. Cleveland is kind of tough against the pass. The Denzel Ward's a pretty good but you know what? I mean, those dump off passes to McCaffrey have been getting good yards and stuff like that. I don't think that Cam Newton's going to have a bad game. I just think that Deshaun Watson's going to have a better game. Just because it's indoors, it's at home. Cam's at Cleveland. He usually doesn't play well on the road. He's going to have to battle some of those elements. Deshaun Watson, like I said, it's a Sunday there against Indianapolis, which is a division opponent, but he's just been balling out lately, so it's hard to go away from him. Cam threw 4 picks last week. Not saying that he's going to do that this week, but I'm just saying that he's not playing at the highest level, and now he's got to play in a hostile stadium, and again, 2 on the road. So maybe he bounces back. Maybe he finishes with a better game than what it might seem like, but I think Deshaun Watson right now has probably a better matchup. As you can see, the Kareem Hunt fiasco has devastated Brewdogs' running back core. This is what he's had to resort to now to put together a team, a running back core, because Kareem Hunt screwed him and a lot of people. Barkley and then Basket of Deplorables, Tommy, our reigning champ, just lost James Conner, so he's going to go with Tariq Cohen, which isn't that bad of a replacement, but not James Conner like though, right? Anyway, in the receiving core here, you see that not a lot going on. Emmanuel Sanders versus Antonio Brown. You got to give it, especially against Oakland. Odell Beckham versus Adam Thielen. I'm going to give it to Odell in this one, just because Thielen is going to play in Seattle, and they can still play some defense. So I think Odell will have the better game against Washington. And then Tyler Lockett versus Tyler Boyd. I'm going to give the odd here to Tyler Lockett. He's been solid this year, man. Just because Boyd has Driscoll, and against the Chargers, I just don't think he's going to he's going to get most of the coverage there. So Lockett's been solid, man. So I'm going to give it to Lockett there. I think he's going to be able to have the Jets to burn Xavier Rhodes for a long one, or any one of the corners for the Vikings. So yeah, I think Tyler Lockett will do good. He doesn't have Greg Olsen. He's going to put in Eric Ebron versus Chris Herndon. Got to give it to Ebron. Chris Boswell versus Adam Vinatieri, and then that's a tie. And then the Broncos D versus the Bills D, which is pretty much a tie, if maybe the Bills have a little bit better if Josh McCown plays. But looking at their benches, really can't go. Maybe instead of Cohen, he goes Mack, Basket of Deplorables. Who knows? Austin Eckler he could go to. He's pretty deep there. Maybe I don't think he goes away from the Bills defense for either the Titans or the Lions. Case Keenum for Basket of the Brewdogs. Maybe he does. Maybe he makes that change against the Niners. That's a pretty good matchup for Case Keenum, but he's just not that superstar quarterback you can kind of rely on. So maybe he doesn't. He's not going to play Ty Montgomery. Cortland Sutton, that would be a kind of a crazy combo to play in the first round too. I mean, Keenum and Sutton. So maybe think about that one, Brewdogs. Maybe you do it, maybe you don't, but something to think about at least. And then, like I said, you're going to put an Abram and go with the Broncos D. So being the fact that your running back core got decimated with Kareem Hunt, and you really don't have that many great matchups there, I'm going to have to obviously give it to Basket of Deplorables to take this win in the first round. So is what it is. Sorry, Brewdogs. I know that just sucks that Kareem Hunt thing went down right before the playoffs were about to begin. That's brutal. That's real, bro. That's what you call adversity. All right, and then here we go in the last game. You guys can now all turn it off, except for Foster. We got the number 1 seed, yourself, your boy, finished 10-3. I was going to go for the 1 seed last year. I was 6-1. what did happen? I lost my last 6 in a row, finished 6-7, didn't have the points, and missed the playoffs. This year, what did I do? I obeyed the fantasy gods, gave the league what it needed, or what it wanted, and what the fantasy gods demanded was high production value commissioner messages. So that's what I did, and I've been rewarded. I've appeased them. They finished me with a 10-3 record. They ended up letting me get a free first-round pick for Josh Gordon, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, fantasy gods have been, but there's a big but coming here, because I like big butts. I cannot lie. But I'm about to get face pumped. Watch. I'm about to break it down here. Watch. All right, so here we go. Record 10-3 versus the Foss, which is 6-7. Coaching ranking, I'm 3rd. I don't make the best calls. 8th, but I make better calls than Foster. Schedule difficulty, I had the toughest schedule this season against the 4th toughest schedule, so I've been battle tested this season. Passing ranking 5th. I've been falling down that. Matt Ryan's been letting me down against the 4th, Drew Brees. I think with Drew Brees, you'd be in the top 3, but whatever. Rushing ranking, I'm 4th versus the 8th with Foster. 2nd in receiving versus the 6th. And defensive ranking, the number 1, Foster, versus the number 4, Mr. Sweet Spot. All right, so here we go. This is where I'm about to break down the face pumping that's about to occur this Sunday. We have Drew Brees against Matt Ryan. Drew Brees, been held down the last few weeks, now is playing Tampa Bay. Horrible defense. Matt Ryan hasn't been playing good of lately, now has to play outside in Green Bay against a new team that's revved up to play for their interim coach. So I am going to get the fog juice dropped on me on that one, right on my chin. Breeze is going to win that matchup. All right, so now let's move to our running back matchup. We got Ezekiel versus Philly and Lamar Miller. Obviously, you're going to give yourself Ezekiel Elliott to have more than Lamar Miller, even though Lamar Miller has been playing well of late. 2 weeks ago, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Last week, he had 100 yards. So Indianapolis doesn't have the greatest of run defenses, so I'm hoping it keeps it under double digits. Ezekiel, I'm hoping for a big game. He has yet to get that 30-point game. He's been in the 20s. I'm hoping maybe he has a breakout 30-point game against Philly. But even if he did what he did again last time against Philly, I'll take it. I just need a good game from him. James White versus Alvin Kamara. So he has Drew Brees. So anything that goes passing to Kamara, any passing touchdowns, is a wash and point. So that's one way he can limit Kamara. I got to hope Kamara has a good game on the ground. On the ground, not in the air, on the ground. And then James White against Miami, got to give it to Alvin Kamara, right? But if you factor in him having a good passing game and not a good rushing game, then you'd probably want to give it to Drew Brees. So I don't know, does Kamara limit Brees or does Brees limit Kamara? I mean, we get more points for the running back than we do for the quarterback, but if he scores a passing touchdown, I mean, it's a wash in points, and I guess I gain a little bit in points, so maybe Kamara limits Brees. So I have that. Maybe I do want a big, now that I'm thinking this out loudly, maybe I do want a bigger game from Kamara through the air to limit Brees. Maybe. Anyway, we'll give Kamara the edge there, even though he's been scaring the shit out of me from his last 2 games, but I'm hoping he can get out of that fog, juiciness, and find himself into the end zone in a good game. All right, we got the wide receiver 1 matchup here, Davante Adams versus Julio Jones. I know Davante Adams is playing against Atlanta, and I want to give him the edge. I really do, but I just think that Julio Jones kills Green Bay every year in Green Bay. Go back and look. Every year he plays Green Bay, whether it's, doesn't have to be in Green Bay, but every year he plays Green Bay, he destroys them. He absolutely destroys them. So if he has a big game, which I think he's going to have, and I'm going to give him the edge over Davante Adams, then that limits Matt Ryan. So there we go. You see the face pumping beginning to happen. All right, so we give the matchup to Julio. In the second matchup, we got Mike Thomas versus Tyreek Hill. All right, well, here we go. Tyreek Hill's playing Baltimore. Might not have a lot of opportunities if they're kept off the field. Last week against Oakland, he got 7 targets, and the guy was missed on all of them. So what if he's cut in half when he only has 3 or 4 targets? I got to hope that he hits on a big one, or else he's not going to have a good game like he did last week with only 5 points. Mike Thomas going against Tampa Bay. Drew Brees been held down. Tampa Bay, not a good offense. Got to give the edge to Mike Thomas. And then in this third receiving spot, we have Allen Robinson against Chris Godwin. So I'm going to take Godwin in this one just because Allen Robinson is really up and down and he hasn't really had a great game. If Deshaun Jackson is out, definitely Godwin. But if Deshaun Jackson plays, then I'm going to probably start Ridley. So we'll see about that. But I'll give it to Godwin as it stands right now. In the tight end position, here we go. More face pumping being shown how this will happen. Austin Hooper, tight end, Falcons. I have Matt Ryan. So that's going to limit Ryan's points too. So now I'm going to have to sit here and watch Sunday. Matt Ryan playing against Green Bay, hoping that everything he throws goes to either Sununu or Ridley or Tubman Coleman. That's what I have to hope. That's what I'm hoping for. See how I can get the face pumping? Anyway, got to give it to Hooper just because Ingram might not even play, and I'm going to have to go to the free agents to get a tight end. Kickers, we'll just say it's even. Chargers kicker versus the Kansas City kicker. Defense, I will say I might have a slight edge in that just because the Bears play the Rams, and the Rams can put some points on the board. They don't turn the ball over a lot. So hopefully they have a good, clean game and can limit Chicago not to, last week, like the Giants, they only got 6 points last week in our league, so I'm hoping for something like that. So anyway, even though the Guru has me at a 140 spot, I think that's like the kiss of death. I mean, might as well just say pump your face right now. I think, seriously, I'm going to lose this matchup. I want to win it. I feel like I have, if the guys perform that I have, I can win it, but I just think everything's setting up to go against me in this one. So I'm going to take Foster. I think Foster ends up beating the number 1 seed and face pumps me. I hope I'm wrong. I have confidence I'll make it a close game. I don't think it's going to be like a 140 to 90 point game or 140 to 105. It'll be a closer game. It'll probably be like a 124 to 115, something like that, 117. Some within a few 6, 7, 8, 10 points, something like that. But I just see I'm getting set up for the face bump. Breeze goes for like a 4 to 5 touchdown game. Matt Ryan goes for like, maybe 302, but Julio goes for 180 in both those touchdowns. Hooper goes for 60 or 70 of it. Look at that right there. Then all of a sudden, I'm in this deep hole. I would have to hope that Ezekiel Elliott can destroy in points, and that Alvin Kamara can either limit Breeze or have a big run game in the run game. Have a big game in the run game. So we'll see. Let's just see how it goes. Like I said this year, I'm happy. I didn't do an absolute face flop like I did last year. Got some good commissioner messages in, and won a weekly, and we'll just see how the trips lie after week 1. So, all right, well, there you go. There's the breakdown of round 1 in the PPH playoffs. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.